All right, so we've just done the 3 minute challenge. Let's talk about your piece. Talk about your inspiration. Where did the idea come from? How did it all start?
The idea came from one of our group members and like their feelings towards the space, and, like how they see the space.
Okay. What was that feeling, or how was that space
It was
seen?
like the feeling of like depression and like just being like that space is somewhere to sort of release your energy. You know?
Okay. Can we add to that in any way? Like, so the feeling of releasing depression or getting
Like,
that out of it.
sort of like
It's like in our piece, we all had different emotions. We was all the different emotions, and it's like it was outside there, the character was depressed, but once coming here, they could let out everything they felt because during the time they were locked inside and they wouldn't tell anyone, and then when they got in here, the space, they then felt like they could just express
So all the
everything.
emotions were allowed to like walk around and be free in the space. Then, like, so at the beginning all the emotions were spread out, and then towards the end, in the middle they were allowed to reign and they were allowed to run and cause havoc and cause all the grief they wanted to, and then at the end they all came back and then left the space as one, showing you that outside of that space they all come in and they all stay in, and then in that space they don't have to and they get to go.
Okay.
Because we represent the same person, but each of us has a different feeling of the same person. We represent a different feeling of the same person, and so with us, our voice and our movement and action, we represent this thing.
And how did you come up with the idea of actually using the space, light, dark, all that sort of stuff?
Because we wanted to change the normal idea of the space. So I was saying that we thought about this idea because we thought that we have just to show the feeling of the same person, and so maybe with this play with the light, it can be easier to show, if we want to give more attention to the angry feeling, he will take the light on him and stuff like this. So
Okay.
maybe it was
So it's helped the audience focus on specific elements. What else was your performance aim in terms of depriving your audience of sight? What did you want to achieve?
We wanted to
by
make
that?
people understand, so not just the main person, the rest of the audience as well. That's what involved everyone, because we wanted everyone to feel like what it was like, not just single out one person. Want them all to get involved. That's why we had the circle thing where it was going around and then changing to all the emotions were touched to different people. It was like, just the performance thing was to change your mind on these ideas.
And tell me how you involved your audience in terms of how you showed them the different emotions. What different ways did you do that?
Well, during the carousel movement at the beginning, we had each person touch the audience member differently to show like a different way of reacting to peers. So Quaid was quite vicious and like would bump into them and then not apologise, and Charlie was frustrated, so he'd like huff and puff and he'd try and stay away, but he'd want to be close, and Rebecca was soft and gentle and she just wanted to touch people and just wanted to hold their hands, and then I was the emotion of just needing to be near someone, so I just clung to the person until then moved on and clung to the next person.
And what were you hoping to achieve in terms of reaction from the audience by being, because you were very tactile to the audience in your piece, what was your kind of performance aim in terms of that? What were you trying to achieve, Charlie?
we were just trying to make them sort of get a sense of how this person feels, and make them almost just understand more of how the act of depression can be towards
There was, from my perspective, there was in the audience there was a little bit of fear in some of them. Is that something you'd planned for? Is that something you wanted?
Something we had we thought would happen, but it wasn't like, oh, let's scare them. It was more of, if they feel scared, that's fine, because obviously we're touching and moving people in a way that they're probably not used to.
Okay. And then you did something really quite clever, I think, at the end with the idea of putting an unknown food substance into someone's mouth, that is scary in itself if you're the person you can't see or you don't know what it is that's being put into your mouth. What was the idea behind that?
It was like all the emotions built inside. So it was like, and it represented us giving it to you. So you've eaten it, like it was going inside of you.
Right.
And then it like, with the heat of the food, it shows how much anger and all of that anger, you know, we gave you a harder one because anger is a bigger emotion in that sense, and then like other people didn't get very shitty things because like gentle, for instance, that's really low emotion in some sense.
Okay. Nobody ate it. Why, do you think?
Because they were scared.
They were scared
They
too?
were scared to eat it, like they didn't know what it was. Yeah.
Maybe also all the handling,
Yeah, the build up to it
yeah.
had created an atmosphere of we weren't sure what was going to happen next. So we'll talk later about how that, when we talk about with the other group about what we did, we'll talk about how to overcome that, okay? And like maybe how you could have planned or done something differently so that people felt okay enough to try and eat. All right?